Welcome back to BadgerBlitz TV, your Rivals.com destination for all things Wisconsin athletics. Once again, I'm Matt Perkins, joined, as always, by my good friend, Rivals.com national analyst Clint Cosgrove. Like we always say, buddy, it's the best time of the week.
Best time of the week. Let's be awesome. Let's go, Perko. Let's have a day, man. Excited to talk
Yeah,
ball.
man. Let's absolutely be awesome today. I want to shout out the Badgers Den, part of Badger Blitz. They were so awesome that they started the question thread for us this week. They were really on top of the ball. DW Bucky fan 69. Shout out to you.
Let's go, DW.
What they want to know is that, bye week for Wisconsin. Badger coaches are on the road. Bernie and I talked to Mike Brown, the wide receivers coach, who was on the road in Chicago, was leaving to go on the road in Chicago after we talked to him. And so I know he is going to be down on the recruiting. All of the coaches are going to be out recruiting their territories, their positions this weekend with the bye. So, but what DW wants to know is not about the 24s. Let's talk about the 25s and the 26s coming up. So who are they after? Who are they really into? So we've got three guys that I know the staff is going after very hard for this 2025 cycle. And this actually blends really well. What Super Badger wants to know about speed. And if there's going to be more speed on the roster. And one guy they are targeting that has some serious speed, just like his dad, is Eugene Hilton, the wide receiver out of Indiana, Zionsville, Indiana. He's had a Badger offer for a minute now. We've talked about him before. We've got some new film on him. We're going to talk about that. And I really like the way that he tracks the ball while it's in the air. He's a natural receiver, natural route runner, but especially he looks a little bigger than his dad on film. And I like the way that he seems to, like I said, track the ball in the air and then come down with it.
Yeah, when you turn on the film, the kid's slippery route runner, extremely twitched up, great lateral movement, great burst. The way he manipulates his body in the air to track the ball and catch it, just impressive. I mean, you see the burst here, you see the long speed. He plays the game a lot faster than his track times would suggest. But there's just so much to like here. He'd be a great fit in the offense. Yeah, can you imagine him and Kyan Barry Johnson just kind of, switching spots, one lining up on the outside, one in the slot. You got a couple slot machines there. I mean, just the way his ability to see the ball, track the ball, adjust to it, and then make the catch. And you'll see a couple contested catches. You're going to see a couple circus catches. But, you love the inside stem there. And just his way, he finds a crease. And then contested balls, they're not contested balls. And it's similar to Barry Johnson is he's going to come down with the ball. And then you're going to see him here, snap off the route, but then start working backwards. And I don't know how he caught that through the other guy's hand, but that's the type of player he is. He's a playmaker. He sees the ball, he gets the ball, and he gets open. But, you see him here stretch the field, underthrown again. I think they just wanted to make him have a highlight reel of contested catches, and that is what he has done. Now, this one got a little scary, and this is what I'm talking about when he does manipulate his body in the air and adjust to catch the ball. Oh, it's not this one. It's the next. It's coming up.
It's one of the ones coming
pretty
up.
Hard. But yeah, no, just, he sits down in a zone there and then catches the ball and he's instantly looking for work. You love him after the catch. You love him before the catch. You love him while he's catching the ball. And just can do a little bit of everything. He's that versatile receiver that you're looking for in Phil Longo's offense. And, he's a guy I'm excited about. Here it is.
This is the play you were talking about. Yeah.
Like, boom! Good Lord. That's the hardest hit he's going to take all year. Why? An expensive post.
Yeah.
But the way, do you see the way he adjusts to the ball in the air there? And, manipulate his body last second, late hands, and catches it through guys' hands, backs. Like sometimes you're wondering how he comes down with the ball, snapping off a route right there. Pretty polished route runner, can drop his hips, sink his hips, come in and out of breaks. But yeah, just a lot to like. And, he just dropped a top 6. Perko, you can rip that off. But Wisconsin is in the mix.
Yeah, Wisconsin's in the mix alongside of his father's school, FIU. Shout out to the Golden Panthers, Miami Hurricanes, also in South Florida, and then Ole Miss, Kentucky, and Missouri. And I think that's an interesting top six. I think the Badgers
It is.
absolutely have a good shot here of landing him. You could see him being a feature guy, like the way that they're planning on using Kyneberry Johnson as well, like you mentioned, would be a really nice pairing in back-to-back classes for Wisconsin.
Yeah, similar skill set, probably more upside, as like Will Pauling,
Mhm.
coming out. And yeah, just I really like. I was going to call him Ty. You called it. You said you'll call him Ty at some. I really like Eugene. He's a guy that we kind of took a risk on early. He didn't have a ton going on when we put him in the Rivals 250 originally. He's still a 4-star, not in the Rivals 250, but this early junior film's really good. So he's definitely going to be a candidate for that. And obviously has the genetic profile that makes him very intriguing as well.
Everyone loves the genetics. They all want Marvin Harrison Jr.
Hey,
2.0,
yeah,
right?
we love it. Nepotism rules. It's football. Let's go.
Well, it seems to be especially at the wide receiver position, to be honest with you. Yeah,
Yeah, it's the
when
most
you look at that,
transferable.
when you look at young Mr. Henry in the 2020, was it 2026
Yeah,
class? Um, you know,
2026.
yeah, all the a lot of them seem to do well by their genetics. We will stay in the state of Indiana for the next guy I want to talk about, and that is tight end Brock Schott. And he's another guy with a great offer list. I mean, Miami, you've got obviously Wisconsin, you've got Iowa, who is a tight end factory, right? He's got some really nice offers at tight end. Clint, I know when we first turned this on, you said, "Oh, I want to be on defense," but because you want
But we
everyone
knew
to
that
be on
was going
defense.
to
He's a
happen. I
nice
want
athlete.
everybody on
He's a
defense.
really nice athlete at
Yes,
his size, listed 6'3", 215. I think he plays a little bit bigger than that, quite
he does.
frankly. And if I hadn't read that, I would like he's 6'4", 6'5". But no, he seems to play bigger than he's listed. Now, maybe that's competition, maybe that is something else, but it stands out when you are watching on film. So, and I could definitely see him being used as, especially as an H-back style guy, someone that they might split out wide a little more than their traditional tight ends that they've had. But what do you see here, Clint?
Yeah, I mean he's a kind of he's a good defensive end, but he's also the prototypical kind of H back move guy. He can block, he can catch, he can run, you can split him out. He's just a really versatile skill set. He actually lists himself at 6'3", 220. He's going to be a big kid. He kind of moves a little bit like George Kittle. There we go. Look at this the way he transitions on defense to make a violent tackle. Gotta love it. Here he is again, firing off the ball. But it just shows he's a football player. He's a football player. He plays with a high motor, plays like his hair is on fire, physical kid. He's one of those guys you watch the film and you can tell he loves the game. He wants to get after your butt. He wants to bring pain, and he also wants to score touchdowns. So you don't often find the guys who want to score touchdowns and also want to, break your helmet off at the same time there. But you see him with the ball after the catch. You saw that first play where he runs on. I mean, look at that bull rush and the way he uses his hands to get after the quarterback there. I keep on saying the defensive stuff. He's a tight end. He is. He's got a chance to be special just because of that versatility. And he's going to be a physical kid. He's not afraid to get his nose dirty. He can line up in the backfield. He can line up with his hands down. He can line up split out. And he's just as good of a blocker as he is a receiver. And, just tremendous upside here. You love the acceleration, running away from people. Even though they had angles or were running full speed before he caught the ball. So just another guy that, Wisconsin should be right in the mix for. I think it's he could be a big play for them. He's perfect for the offense, where you're going to get spreading defenses horizontally. And then you got a guy like him who could be a lead back, but he could also split out. And so he presents some tendency breakers when you're trying to scheme defensively and personnel wise. And so I really like that about him. I like the fit, and Wisconsin should be in the mix.
Yeah, I think that he would be a nice fit. You already see what they're trying to do with Tucker Ashcraft, the true freshman who's playing for Wisconsin right now. They've been flexing him out into the slot a fair bit in his, limited amount of snaps, but he's gotten a fair bit of snaps as far as true freshmen are concerned. I think he leads the team, and so it also shows to me if I'm a tight end, hey, if you're a true freshman, you're ready to see the field. You're ready to see the field. Like you'll get out there at the tight end position, at whatever position. So I think that he fits the tight end profile. And also, Clint, I just don't see a fit for. I know you love him as a defensive player. I don't see him a positional fit for him in the 3-3-5 that is being
No.
run by Mike Tressel. So maybe if this were 20 years ago, he'd be a 4-3 defensive end and he would fit really well there. I just don't see. I don't see the. He would have to fill out a whole lot. He'd have to grow a couple inches and add some pounds. I think if he was really going to
Yeah.
be a defensive end, especially.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
He's not a pure, one of those athletic linebacker types. I mean, he is athletic, but he's not a guy you want playing in space all day long. And he'd be more of a seam curl flat defender as far as that goes. And then he's not going to be a big 2 gap guy, although he looked like it when he was bull rushing there. But it's a different deal in the Big Ten. So, perfect scheme fit for tight end. You love the skill set, and you love what he brings to the table.
Well, one guy that is perfect skill set for defensive end and who
Oh yeah,
has gotten bigger in over the summer
huge.
seemingly and is really blowing up right now is Nate Marshall out of your neck of the woods, Oak Park, Illinois, Fenwick High
Yeah,
School, Clint, defensive lineman who I know the staff is really, really high on, but they are not the only ones
every
because
staff is high on him.
everyone is high on him. He's recently picked up offers from Texas, from Ohio State, from Nebraska, Miami, Michigan. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Alabama. I mean, he'll be able to go anywhere he wants.
Yeah, he can go anywhere he wants. But I know that, Greg Scruggs is in on this kid. I know that the staff as a whole are really, really in on this kid. They really like his physical skill set and think that he could be a difference maker at defensive end.
Yeah, I mean, he's got all the tools. Now, you talk about his growth. I have not gotten out to see him this season. I think partially because he's pretty close by, and I know I can get over there at any time and know the coach. But he has grown a ton. I've talked to people. He's probably grown 2-3 inches over the past year and a half, and then obviously put on 30-40 pounds, maybe not grown 2 or 3 inches, but he's definitely put on a ton of weight. And then, he can be a dominant guy across the defensive line. You see him fire off the ball. You got 2 guys trying to block him there. He's just fighting right through it. And he's at a raw stage of his career. And then to line up, I don't know if he's 275 or 270 pounds, but to line up split out like that in their offense is it's impressive to see a big guy like that move. I don't know if they're just trying to showboat, but this is a big man with a skill set. Look at the ball skills. He snaps his hands out late, catches the ball, turns to do work. And I know I wouldn't want to tackle him. Not that I wanted to tackle a lot of people, but you just love everything you see about him on film. He's a physical kid. He's the type, you see him here, the way he just kind of takes out, washes out the whole side of the line. He's a guy you might see in goal line situations, lining up in the backfield. But just a guy that I could see and a perfect 3-down lineman fit. He could play all 3 positions in the 3-3-5. He can 2-gap it. He can hold the edge. You could move him on the interior. He can be an interior pass rusher. There's literally nothing that this kid isn't capable of doing. He's got the length. He's got the strength. He's at a raw stage of his career, and his upside is limitless. I'm excited to go and see him sometime soon. If they play on Saturday, which sometimes they do because they play over at an off-campus field. I might be able to even see him again this weekend. If they're not playing Friday night, I'll have to look at the schedule. But big-time player. He's going to be a battle to the end. I don't know if he'll be an early commit, but you're playing with the big boys now. And this is the type of player that you want to go after if you want to win championships and you want to compete. And the good thing is, Fenwick guys, Cincinnati recruited Fenwick pretty hard. And then 2, a lot of those guys stay in the Midwest. There's connections to Notre Dame, connections to Illinois. They got a receiver there right now. even though he's a national recruit with the national offers, yeah, he could go anywhere. But, Fenwick guys, a lot of them do end up staying in the Midwest. So they have the basketball player who went down to Kentucky, but, national recruits are going to do what national recruits do, and he's going to explore his options. But to even be in the mix and to really feel like you got a shot at a guy like that maybe Wisconsin doesn't even attempt to go after, at least shoot their shot in the past, you got to be excited about that. And, this is a kid who will be playing on Sundays.
State of Illinois has some really good defensive linemen for 25, like some really, really good.
And it's been really down too. So it's good to see that. You got Epinesa, you've got Burgess, you've got Marshall, Jalen Williams, there's a bunch of top 250, top 100 kids in the state on the defensive line. And, a while back when I first started scouting in the region back in, I'd recruited it before, but when I was fully on the ground, boots on the ground scouting in Illinois, we had a ton of defensive linemen in the state, and it really fell off for a couple of years. And it's been a position of need, for football to be what it can be in this state. And, definitely a lot of upside defensive linemen right now. Over at Kenwood, we've got our Miami commit, Marquise Lightfoot. It's crazy to think that in that, we
haven't even mentioned Justin Scott yet. So
well, yeah, and he can play either side of the ball. He's a 5-star offensive lineman, 5-star defensive lineman. We didn't mention him because it's a BadgerBlitz podcast. He's not going to Wisconsin. He is going to Ohio State, although he did have the Georgia gloves on recently when I was at his game. These kids like having a good time. But
we saw Williams and Waneri do the exact same thing after coming to Mizzou with the Oklahoma gloves. So they're having fun with it. It's really, I think it's funny when people get really worked up about that.
They get worked up.
They get really worked up about it, and like it's a 16 or 17-year-old kid wearing some gloves he got for free. Like I'm not like really gonna lose.
Let's put this in perspective, too. When I was at Scott's game 2 weeks ago, I saw him with Georgia gloves on. I was like, oh, God, here we go. And I got him to flash them up for me, took a video. We put it out there. That thing has like over 3 million views. That's how worked up people get about this stuff. So they know what they're doing. This is the new world of football, the NIL world, the marketing world. And if you want to create some controversy, get some attention, yet have a little fun with it as well. There's no better way to do it than wear the team you're not committed to, gloves on game day. Shout out to the glove makers out there. Yeah, they're getting lots of pub right now.
Yeah, Nike and Under Armour are doing just fine. So yeah, you're right. In the attention economy, knowing how to gin up interest is a commodifiable skill. So
it is.
So I think, speaking of commodifiable skills, I'll let you get back to scouting and doing what you do best, breaking down the tape, going to games, and just being the man, Clint. It is.
I learned from the best, Perko.
See you as always. I appreciate you as always. We'll be back again next week with more recruiting talk. Be back with John McNamara next week with we'll do a little game preview ahead of post bye week, looking into Rutgers. So until then, though, make sure you're on BadgerBlitz.com all the time, on the message boards, in the Badgers Den with us and all of our other friends down there. So until next time, he is Clint Cosgrove. I am Matt Perkins, and we will see you in the den.
In the den.